What a morning. You can hear the birds chirping and it's just cool. By the way, in Arabic, Nihar means morning. And we do have a dish called Nihari. Let's go and make it. To make Nihari, we have mutton. And we need the tough cuts of mutton, basically the shanks, the shoulders, and any tough cuts, because Nihari takes a very long time to cook. It was put at night, and usually it was cooked all the way till the morning, and that's why it's called Nihari, which is the morning stew. And you can either use mutton or you can use beef. It's up to you. And but for today we are using mutton. So to complement mutton, we are going to use onions, and we are going to slowly sweat the onions to take out the sweetness of the onion and also a bit of the zest, so that they complement each other very well once we add all the spices. So on our spice group we have is cardamom pod. We have black cardamom pod, which is also known as Bengali cardamom pod. Then we have a clove. We have about 7 to 8 pieces of cloves. We have half a nutmeg. Then we have red chilies, about 5-6 pieces. And then we have 2 bay leaves, which I've cut into halves. And then on our perfuming side, so Nihari, the perfuming part is very important. Nihari, it's not really about the meat, but more than it's about the perfume of the soup, right, of the stew. So to perfume the stew, what we have with us is the black cumin, which is called jeera. And then we have cinnamon. So cinnamon and mutton goes hand in hand. The smell, sweetness of the cinnamon makes the mutton ever more tasty. Then we have mace, right? Then after that we have the shah jeera. So shah jeera is very, very, how should I explain it? It's very fresh. It's very fresh, and compared to the black cumin, it's very mild in flavor. So what you get is like someone telling you good morning in the morning. And after that, we have quite a bit of black pepper here. So black pepper is basically the essence, right? It's the essence of Nihari. So in the morning, you take a spoonful of the stew, and then you have the heat coming in the cold morning. Oh, that just feels amazing. Right, so then next we have is mustard oil. So mustard oil, because this is one of the key ingredients of making Nihari, right? So if you are going to use ghee or any other oil for Nihari, it's not going to taste well, right? So I really, really, really highly suggest that you go for mustard oil, because the essence of black pepper, mustard oil, it goes amazing. And then we have is crushed garlic, we have crushed ginger, and we also have a few green chilies going on. That's it. That's how simple Nihari is. People say that, oh, it's 100 recipes and 100 ingredients recipe and all that. Not really true. That's all. So enough talking. Let's go on to cooking. Today we're going to cook our Nihari in a clay pot. And being made of clay, it does add a bit of flavor to the Nihari, which means that you're going to get that earthy flavor from Nihari. That clay taste that you get from clay pots, you're going to get that from here. But if you're using a steel, aluminium pot, it's also fine, just that you wouldn't get the taste. So I'm going to add in mustard oil to that. 5 tablespoons in there, and the next item we're going to add is our onions, so that we can sweat the onions in there. Once the onions have started sweating, you can add a bit of salt into them. Just mix the salt with the onions. Onions have been sweating for about 5 minutes. We're going to add in the group of spices. And after that we're going to add in the meat. So we have our group of spices, and we're just going to put them in together. And we have our second group of spices. We're going to go in with the black pepper, with the crushed garlic, with the crushed ginger, We go in with the green chilies. Once you have added those in, give them a nice mix. And by this time, the mustard oil will be mixing around with all the essential oils from all of these spices. The heat of the mustard oil will extract the essential oils out of the spices. So make sure that your heat is not too high. If not, your oil will be too hot and you will end up burning the spices. Next, we are going to add turmeric to it. So remember, turmeric, we're adding it just for color and that earthy taste. So after the turmeric, we're going to add in a bit of red chili. The red chili is really to pop the colors, right? It's not really going to function any taste difference. It's going to add in a little bit of heat, but the main purpose of it is to pop the color of the nihari. We'll give it a nice mix. So all the spices has been, it just smells so good that I had to stop my commentary. Okay, but all the spices have been heating nicely at low to medium heat. And they just smell amazing with the mustard oil and everything. It tastes amazing. It's amazing. Okay, so now let's get back to the program, right? Instead of me salivating over this, but we're going to add the meat into this, right? So we're going to just add in the meat. So we'll put the bones in first, you know, and the rest of the meat will go inside. Now, this part is very important, that you have to mix the meat and all the other spices that are cooking very, very well. So take your time, don't rush this. You can rush anything, but not this. So take it and mix it for probably 5 minutes. If you have good hand strength, you can go on until you can smell the essence of nihari coming through. You just keep on mixing it like that. What to do is we're going to just give it we're going to cover it, and then we're going to let it cook within the oils, and the meat is going to release fat. The spices have released the essential oils. The mustard oil is going to fry all of this together. The cumin is doing its magic. Then the cinnamon is doing its magic, bringing in the sweetness of it. And let's cover it, and we'll come back after 5 minutes, and let's see what happens then. All right, now, so as you can see that we have been letting it saute for quite a while now, and the onions have released its water, and then the meat has also released its oil, and then now they're cooking pretty much by themselves. So what we're going to do is that we're going to add a spoon of coriander powder, right? So the reason is because that when you're frying, you do not want to fry the coriander powder. You want to add the coriander powder in there so that it mixes with the soup, right, with the broth that's coming out, and then it's going to give a very aromatic, fragrant flavor. There it goes with a spoonful of coriander powder. Now we're going to give it a mix. So once you see that the oil is coming above the water that is left, so what you do is that you go on in and add as much water as you want, because it's going to cook for almost 2 to 3 hours. And if you can cook it overnight on a very low heat, go ahead. But you know, I'll probably fill it up to the brim, right? So that will be almost 3 times the amount of meat I have on here. So there you go, 1 bowl. And second bowl. Seems all right. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to give it a mix. And we're going to leave it in there. And that is pretty much the cooking process. Later on, so I'm putting it on medium-low heat. And we're going to cover it. So this has been cooking for about 3 hours now. And let's take a look inside. So as you can see that it has been cooking on a very low heat, and all the meat have been cooked, and it's very tender. It's jiggly almost, so you can see it's jiggly, and the soup has gone all the way down, so it's just peaking above the amount of meat there is, and this is the amount we want. If you want to make it more soupy, then go ahead, but then you have to add more spices to it, and it's perfectly fine. So let's say that as and when you're cooking, you're tasting it, and you feel that, oh, maybe a bit more cumin would go to my taste, or let's say a bit more salt will add to my taste. Go ahead, add it in, because this is going to cook so long that it's not really going to make a difference that if you put it before or after. So now what we're going to do is that we're going to fry some, we're going to toast some wheat flour so that we can add it in there. And what this does is you'll add a bit of meatiness to it, right? So thicken it a bit, and then you add a bit meatiness to it. And after that, we are going to mix the wheat flour in the Kewra and the rose water, and probably a bit of ghee, and then we are going to add it in. And after that, at the end, we're going to just fry up a bit of onion, a bit of garlic, and then we're going to just put it over there as the garnish. So let's catch you on that. So I am toasting a bit of wheat flour over here. As you can see that it has turned dark brown, and it will be getting more brown as we keep on toasting it. But this this consistency should be fine. So now what we're going to do is we're going to mix this with a bit of rose water, a bit of Kewra water, and then we'll add a bit of MSG in there just to enhance the flavor, and then we're going to mix it in the Nihari. I've mixed the wheat flour into about 2 cups of water over here, and then I have also added in a bit of MSG and a bit of ghee, about 1 tablespoon, and I'm just going to add it in little by little so that I can see what is the consistency I like, and I can stop at any time, let's say if it's becoming too heavy. So I went in with a 1 cup first, and so I'm just going to turn it around and give it a while for it to come up to its thickening, and also take a whiff of the smell, that how does it smell. So if it smells let's say still a bit if it smells still a bit underwhelming, then of course you can add a bit more, but for me it smells just about right. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fry up the garnish with onions and garlic and a bit of jeera, which is cumin, and then I'm going to add it in. So as you can see, we have garlics and onions being fried in ghee right now, so for the garnish later on in the Nihari. And then once it's fried nicely in 50% of the barista quantity, then it should be done, and we'll put it in the Nihari, and the Nihari will be complete for consumption. So as you can see that all the onions and garlic has been nicely fried, and now we'll be adding this in the Nihari. Oh, this is just smelling amazing, even without the garnish. So now let's just add in the garnish and salivate over this. And if you would like to make this, go ahead, make it today, or make it tomorrow at night and in the morning. So also do like, subscribe, and thank you for following.